A real quick word from our sponsor before we start. Sign up for Virtual Shield's free trial today. They're the world's best virtual private network service, and they're offering free trials and deep discounts right now as part of their spring special. So make sure you check out their offers by clicking the link below this video. And remember, the best way to support this show and keep no bullshit going is to check out our sponsors and support. So sign up for a free trial today. It's really the least you can do. Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the upcoming Marvel movie, Avengers Endgame. This long-awaited sequel to last year's Infinity War will mark the end of an era in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, their Phase 4 is coming to a close with this picture, coming out at the end of this month, April. And that means a lot will be changing in their movie world very soon too. Previously we talked about the new character Captain Marvel, who's been co-opted by the liberals, feminists, and social justice warriors. Captain Marvel is also likely to take over as one of the lead characters in the Marvel franchise, as the other original members of the cast are set to leave after this new movie. One such original Avenger, the first Avenger, another Captain, Captain America, well, the actor that's playing him has been making some interesting waves in the media as this new film's release approaches. And Chris Evans has been no stranger to this divisive, politically motivated behavior either. We've covered Chris a number of times over the years too, as he and a couple of other Marvel actors, well, they've all appeared in numerous political ads, some around the 2016 election and others since then too. And as you might have guessed, like most of these Hollywood elitists, Evans is a stark Democrat who not only campaigned for Hillary Clinton, he's also been starkly anti-Trump online and in public ever since Clinton lost. Yeah, Chris Evans has been pretty bitter since 2016, and I've even often saved some of his low IQ anti-Trump tweets over the years in hopes of making another video on the guy one day. And well, with this new movie coming out and Chris Evans doing some interviews out there, interviews which have brought to light some pretty embarrassing information, well, that's finally given me the reason to make this video. You see, there's been one interesting headline Evans has sparked that has gotten me a little worried about this Avengers Endgame movie. I still think it will be great, of course, because the directors and the crew have not decided to join in on this petty political squabbling, but Chris Evans has, and in fact, he's even gone so far as to say he doesn't mind alienating half his audience either. As this Breitbart article's title says, Chris is even willing to alienate half of his audience purposely, if it means he can bash the president, Donald J. Trump. Really seems like the Trump derangement syndrome is strong in this one. So, with that said, let's go ahead and read some of this article and see what else Captain Anti-America has to say. Chris Evans, star of the upcoming film Avengers Endgame, said that he would be disappointed in himself if he didn't speak out against dumb shit President Donald Trump, even if it means alienating half his audience. You don't want to alienate half your audience, Chris Evans told The Hollywood Reporter, but I'd be disappointed in myself if I didn't speak up, especially for fear of some monetary repercussion or career damage. That just feels really gross to me. No, you know what's really gross, Chris? It's you using your fame from another industry and trying to leverage that into an attack on a politician you don't like. I know Hollywood liberals like to pretend they are saving the world when they do something like this, but let's be real. Trump hasn't done anything wrong at all. He's not a dictator and he's not abusing power or killing innocents or anything like that. Really, Chris Evans is just butthurt because his candidate lost in 2016, and now almost 3 years later and he's still being salty about that. And had Chris gotten fame from his political insights and commentary before, these comments now would make more sense, but now he's just sharing his distaste for the president while getting fame from another career. You see, Chris Evans got famous because he's good looking, he likes lifting weights, and he can read lines other people wrote. In front of lights and cameras, he has no clue how to operate. So yeah, we might as well be taking political opinions from models like Kendall Jenner or athletes like Tiger Woods, because these people are just as qualified to make assessments on the US government and the president as Chris Evans is. I mean, would you take my opinions on, say, makeup application seriously? Sure, I've got a good following here on YouTube, but why would that make me qualified to be taken seriously in other fields? This is how ridiculous Chris Evans looks right now too, and that's what's really gross here. I don't know what it is about Hollywood actors that makes them think they are so smart and politically savvy, but apparently they do, and I'm here to tell you they're not that smart, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about in politics. They live in a liberal bubble in Hollywood, and frankly, it's really gross to me when they think they know what they're talking about. The 37-year-old also admitted he would have a hard time being friends with someone who was a Trump supporter, specifically in reference to New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady. I really hope he's not a Trump supporter, he said. I'm just hoping he's one of those guys that maybe supported him and now regrets it. Maybe he thought it was going to be different, and even that bothers me, but maybe there's a chance now he just thinks Trump's an absolute dumb shit, which he is. The Captain America the First Avenger star continued. If he doesn't and he's still on that Trump train, I might have to cut ties. It's really tough. Well, Chris, I can't really really tell what you're going for here. Does this guy really think this makes him look rational or good or virtuous? Because saying you can't be friends with your ideological opponents makes you look bad if you ask me. I know we're in a different, more polarized era right now, but back in my day, you used to be able to disagree with people and stay civil and courteous. Politicians used to get along despite their party lines, but now, oh boy, things have changed. These liberals like Evans have really turned it into an us versus them mentality. You're either with us or against us, as President George Bush would say. And the worst part of this is, Chris seems to think he deserves an award for acting like a child about this. Please, you're being divisive, rude, and a total dick for no reason, Chris. And I still haven't seen the guy even mention why he hates Trump. Chris just says Trump's a dumb shit and that's the end of it. He's talking about the president like he's some kind of convicted murderer or something. And yeah, if we were talking about Adolf Hitler or Osama bin Laden, then maybe you could assume we all know why they're bad, but we're not even close to that at all. Trump has done literally nothing wrong. In fact, he's done lots of good things for this country. We're better off now in every measurable way since his election. So despite Chris Evans' certainty and bravado here, he's really got nothing on Trump aside from him being a Republican, while Chris appears to like Democrats. It's a pretty sad and shameful thing to see coming from such a beloved actor who stoops so low here too. In this section was Chris Evans calling out Tom Brady of all people. Tom frickin' Brady, the NFL golden boy who's won more Super Bowls than any other football player ever. And he's also the guy who many consider one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yeah, that Tom Brady isn't cool enough according to Chris Evans. All because Brady has been known to have a red MAGA hat in his locker from time to time during game days. And Tom Brady isn't even a vocal, outspoken Trump guy either, but just the thought of Brady possibly being a conservative really burns the ass of these radicals like Chris Evans. And Evans is from Boston too, by the way, so he's obviously a big sports-loving Patriots fan too, whose whole family is likely into the sport and the athlete. But as I said before, Chris is also too dumb to separate his politics with the rest of his life, which is funny because if that were the case with me, I would never be watching any of Chris's Marvel movies. I've despised his politics for years now, but I'm also smart and civilized enough to separate the man from his work and from his shitty liberal politics. I would even be willing to consider Chris a friend one day if given the chance, but clearly that's not in the cards with a radical leftist like him. Finally, Evans revealed in the THR interview that he has been learning about his privileges as a straight white male. Oh boy, here we go. Evans has a platform and he's using it, but like a lot of straight white men seeking to consciously and conscientiously navigate a tumultuous moment in the history of straight white maledom, he's learned that shutting up is important too. At Slate's urging, he read Rebecca Solnit's The Mother of All Questions, a collection of essays about the insidious side effects of patriarchy, another bullshit term, and took away a great deal. You have to understand that you don't understand, he says. It's not the most action hero-ish way to look at things, but that may be the secret of his appeal as a movie star. Well, his appeal is going down and down each day. And wow, just wow, now Chris is cucking himself because of this fake white privilege nonsense. And this is something that's been going around on Twitter this weekend too. That hashtag #MyWhitePrivilege has been trying to shame us all week, and well, I'm just not having it. Whites have no different privileges than any other Americans do. There's nothing special about being white here. In fact, as we've seen time and time again, blacks and browns and minorities are the ones who are treated as if they're special now. They're the ones getting privileges and special treatment, and they get accepted into college and job positions because of the color of their skin too. Or what about the Jussie Smollett case? That actor guy who just got away with faking a hate crime in Chicago. He's not white either, but for some reason, he still has this hate crime hoax privilege. So don't try and give me any of that white privilege bullshit, Chris, Mr. Evans, because all you're doing is showing you're a liberal cuck who thinks shitting on himself and his own people will get him some PC virtue signaling points when, really, the SJWs will never be appeased, dude. In 2017, Evans admitted that Trump's presidency made him feel rage and fury. It's unbelievable. People were just so desperate to hear someone say someone is to blame, he said. For all the star's woke posturing, he isn't afraid to engage in a little homophobia to target his political rivals. In January, he happily slandered Senator Lindsey Graham by insinuating he was being blackmailed, following the lead of other Hollywood stars and media figures who mocked Graham over rumors that he's a closeted gay man. Simply disgusting. And Evans basically admitted he has Trump derangement syndrome here too. Normal people don't have rage and fury over elections not going their way. Sure, you can get upset and angry if your party loses, especially if you're heavily invested, but clearly Chris is dwelling on this as he's still so butthurt about it over 2 years later. In the end, Chris Evans is using his star power derived from the Avengers movies to try and throw shade at Trump publicly. Not too surprising really, but still upsetting since the Marvel movies are so beloved and well done. It's a shame something so anticipated like Avengers Endgame has to get tainted by low IQ political musings from one of its actors. And worst of all, Chris hasn't bothered to really list any reasons Trump is bad to begin with. I guess he expects expects us to take his word for it because reasons? Well, that's not good enough for me. Sure, you can work out and you look good and act decently well, Chris, but that doesn't mean you know shit about politics. And worst of all here, he's admitting he doesn't care if he alienates half his audience with this bullcrap. Sounds to me like the same kind of bullshit the Captain Marvel movie release was mired with. Back then, they said they don't care if males or white dudes see their movie either. And although that film was a financial success, Captain Marvel still embarrassed the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the long run. And I just hope this doesn't get as bad for the Avengers Endgame movie. What do you guys think? Is an actor like Chris Evans qualified to direct people about their political affiliations? Is it appropriate for actors to willingly alienate part of their audience, or half of it? And do you think Chris Evans would have the balls to say something anti-conservative like this to either President Trump or Tom Brady's face? Seems like a weak-willed liberal to me. Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.